Hashtags exploded, memes circulated faster than the Coldplay encore, and within hours, the names Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot were all over social media. It all traced back to a single fleeting moment, a kiss Kim shot at a Coldplay concert in Boston that should have been lighthearted fun, but became the catalyst for total collapse. In that instant, a CEO's marriage, a billion-dollar company, and two carefully crafted reputations began to unravel before 60,000 eyes and millions more online. And here is where it gets surreal. There were no emails leaked, no anonymous tip-offs, no boardroom betrayals. Just a camera, a stadium, and an embrace that told the world everything it was not supposed to know. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It is free and help us bring you enjoyable content. And of course, watch till the end. It began like any other summer concert night in Boston: sticky air, overpriced beer, strangers arm in arm singing "Fix You," like it was the national anthem of emotional resilience. Coldplay was headlining, the stadium lights dimmed into that familiar romantic blue hue, and the kiss cam started its usual mischief. We've all seen it. Awkward teenage couples forced into a moment of public affection, married couples hamming it up, and the occasional grumpy duo who flat-out refused to engage. It's a harmless tradition. Until it's not. When the camera landed on Andy Byron, CEO of tech unicorn Lunatech, and Kristin Cabot, his company's global communications director, the crowd did the expected, a collective ah. Followed by laughter when Andy leaned in and Kristin hesitated, just for a second, before giving in with a smile and a kiss. Sweet, right? Wrong. Because here's the thing, Andy Byron was not married to Kristin Cabot. He was married to Emily Byron, an art curator known for her philanthropy and steely grace under pressure, which she would need in spades within the next few hours. Why did that one moment, that single shot of intimacy, explode into a digital wildfire? And more importantly, what does it reveal about how quickly public perception can unravel carefully curated personas? And who really was watching that night? 15 minutes after the kiss cam incident, Twitter had already taken the wheel. Within the hour, there was a TikTok clip with dramatic music, slow-mo zoom, and a caption that read, "Y'all, that's not his wife." It hit 1.2 million views before midnight. It's easy to laugh at internet sleuths, but let's not forget, this is the same internet that solved cold cases, found hidden Taylor Swift Easter eggs, and accurately predicted who would die in Stranger Things Season 4. So when Kristin's LinkedIn was unearthed and matched with her facial profile from the stadium video, it didn't take long for users to piece the whole puzzle together. The worst part? There was no denial. No statement. No, it's not what it looks like. Just a digital silence so loud it echoed. People weren't just watching. They were decoding, zooming in, replaying the subtle lean of Andy's hand, the microsecond delay in Kristin's response, the intimate familiarity that said, this wasn't new. If the internet never forgets, then PR teams have stopped sleeping. But what happens when the story outgrows the facts? But now she was front and center, and not by choice. The internal Slack channels at Lunatech buzzed with passive-aggressive emojis and carefully worded checking-in messages. HR was quiet. Investors, not so much. The company's stock dropped 14% in 48 hours. Reporters called it the Byron dip. No press release was issued, an uncharacteristic move for a company that once sent out a statement about Andy's gluten allergy. Why? Because how do you PR spin a moment that's not just public, it's viral? And if the face of your company cracks, does the whole structure follow? Emily Byron watched it unfold in real time, not the kiss itself, but the avalanche. One moment she was backstage with their son, the next, she was being tagged in Instagram stories, her face frozen in smiling oblivion while the world zoomed in on her husband's kiss. The word humiliation doesn't cut it. A close friend later told Vanity Fair, Emily didn't need to hear an explanation. She saw it. The way Kristin smiled at him? She knew. Within 72 hours, Emily filed for divorce. No mutual statement. No photo of them walking their dog with the caption, "We remain best friends." Just silence, and then a court filing that confirmed the end. In a way, it was the most dignified moment in the entire ordeal. Because as Kristin's name trended next to phrases like homewrecker, corporate affair, and kiss cam gate, Emily Byron opted for grace. She didn't tweet. She didn't shade. She just let the internet eat itself. But what happens to love when it becomes a hashtag? Once upon a time, scandals lived on the front page of newspapers. Now, they're repurposed into TikTok skits, layered with voiceovers, and mashed with trending audio. There was Kristin's Kiss, a filter that simulated awkward reactions. A remix of Coldplay's Yellow with captions that made even Chris Martin wince. One guy made $12,000 on Etsy selling t-shirts that read, "That's not his wife." But beyond the memes and mockery, a real conversation started bubbling beneath the surface. What does it mean when private failure becomes public entertainment? Andy and Kristin didn't just lose face. They lost narrative control. And once the internet decides who you are, no apology can unwrite the captions. But could there be redemption in the ruins? The thing about viral moments? They fade. The algorithm gets bored. A new scandal emerges. People move on. But for those in the scandal, the aftermath lingers. Andy took a temporary leave from Lunatic. Kristin quietly resigned. Neither has appeared at a public event since. Their last photos together, blurry, long-lens shots from a Whole Foods parking lot, showed them avoiding each other's eyes. The internet may have moved on to the next celebrity split, but inside the quiet offices of what was once a tech darling, the damage was structural. Team morale dropped. Employees quit. Lunatic's next product launch was delayed. And investors began asking questions about culture fit. Because it wasn't just a kiss. It was the shattering of trust, wrapped in pixels and pumped through screens across the globe. And as for Andy? Sources say he's seeing a therapist. For image rehab or emotional repair, no one knows. But maybe that's not the point anymore. This wasn't just a viral scandal. It was a mirror. It showed us how quickly we judge, how easily we laugh at others unraveling. It exposed the fragility of image, the power of a single moment, and the chaos that happens when reality refuses to match the branding. Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot weren't villains. They were flawed, caught, human. And that might be the most uncomfortable truth of all. Not that they kissed, but that we saw ourselves in the fallout. The desire for affection. The fear of exposure. The hope that no one's watching when we mess up. But they were. We all were. So what do we do with that truth? If there's one takeaway from the Byron Cabot debacle, it's this: your story is never fully yours when the world is watching. The kiss was a mistake. The silence after was worse. But the real damage came from the assumptions, the stories people told in place of answers. Reputation isn't bulletproof. Love isn't always public. And privacy is a luxury, especially when you live online. But here's the twist: the world moves fast. Redemption is possible. And if this scandal taught us anything, it's that even in digital disaster, there's room to grow, if not publicly, then privately. Whether it's a kiss cam, a tweet, or a full-blown exposé, the spotlight fades. But character doesn't. So guard it. Grow it. And maybe don't kiss anyone at a stadium unless you're ready for 60,000 witnesses and a billion more on replay. Not every kiss is just a kiss. Not every moment is fleeting. In a world of cameras, content, and constant scrutiny, your next move could be tomorrow's trending headline. Maybe it'll be hilarious. Maybe it'll be heartbreaking. But it will matter. So ask yourself, what story do you want the world to tell when they catch you off guard? Be deliberate. Be kind. Be human, but also be aware. And if this story made you feel something: curiosity, cringe, even compassion, then let's keep talking. Because stories like this aren't just entertainment. They're blueprints of our culture, cautionary tales with Wi-Fi. Backhand index pointing down. Drop your thoughts, share your story, or tag someone who needs to read this. The internet might forget, but you won't.